Now, Africa is an attractive continent, and as investors are looking to break into the growth potential and opportunities to create a platform for positive perceptions and highlighting a prosperous Africa have been the guiding principles of the African Public Relations Association. Well, for more on advancing Africa's development, we are joined by Aisha Ali, who's the MD at Blast Communications. Aisha, thank you so much for making the time to join us. I think firstly, can you tell us a bit about the African PR Association and the conference that's currently underway? I don't think that's one that a lot of us know about.
Hi Tumi, thanks for having me. The All African PR Association Conference hosts every year a conference, a very top caliber, high level conference that unites all the PR practitioners, or at least the specialists in various countries in Africa who work in communication. So last year at the AU conference for the 25th edition, we were chosen to be the host country for the 26th edition. So we are very proud to be hosting that conference that will have renowned speakers such as Jeremy Galbraith, the CEO of Burson Marsteller, Europe and Middle East, and as well as Africa, Robin de Villiers, who is the CEO of Burson Marsteller in Africa. We have Paul Holmes, the very famous Paul Holmes Report, among others. So not only are we going to talk about how we are going to advance Africa through communication, you talked earlier on about positive perceptions, but I think what is more important is about the real story, the objective image out there about Africa. And I think we can help in a humble way to give out the stories about what Africa as a continent can depict.
Aisha, how are you doing that? How are you changing perceptions about Africa, and how are you using this PR platform to concretely do that?
That's a very pertinent question to me. Actually, we as PR practitioners build relationships with media. We're not, as in those yesteryears, we were perceived as, we do communication, the media does information. Today, there are so many synergies between these two professions. So we are out there telling the media about the great stories, the great things happening in Africa. We're not the begging bowl anymore. I think Africa is the place to be at the moment. So instead of talking about all the negative stories that you're used to, we're telling the real stories out there, going on the ground. You've seen over the years, especially the recent years, that the big media houses are trying to see the other versions of Africa, and that is how we're trying to get media to get to the, the very heart of Africa, and to get those stories that are very often untold.
What are the trends at the moment? We know that social media, we've seen it being used across the boards from elections and so forth. So what are you doing as a PR company in order to reach the masses and tell the African growth story?
I think, the internet and the social media have absolutely revolutionized the way we do business. In those days, 10, 15 years ago, we used to have about an hour to do a press communique in times of crisis. Today, with citizen journalism and social media, we hardly have any time. We really have to be on the go and think on our feet and get those messages out there. I think the Arab Spring was a wake-up call for many, and we as PR practitioners have had to really readapt the way we handle communication. And I think that's a great thing for democracy, for liberty of expression. Today, more and more voice is given to the people out there. And that is the greatness of internet and social media.
Aisha, we've seen people in the marketing world saying they're seeing their budgets being halved. Is that the same for people in PR in their organizations? Are we seeing those budgets becoming smaller and tighter and tighter?
Well, we all know we all bear the brunt of the financial crisis, that's for sure. But I think image, and when you're dealing with image and reputation, you can't put a dollar value to that. And I think organizations around the world recognize that. And although advertising budgets have been thrashed, we have been, I would say, luckier in the sense that, unfortunately, crises happen. And we as PR specialists, we try to help organizations, brands, and people handle their image in those days, but of course in those times, but not only for crisis. We know that in terms of a media article has more credibility. I mean, I'm not saying that, it's not my personal view, but it's what studies say. So advertising is a paid space, whereas media relations, which is part of PR, is given more credibility by people.
Aisha, thank you so much for giving us a breakdown on that, and we'll definitely be keeping this space open and watching how PR trends evolve over the years. That was Aisha Ali, the MD of Blast Communications.